when is enough though? When is it okay to tell somebody, you know what, y'all not even out of that bunch?
Right. This is getting out of hand. This is affecting my life.
Like, why are we creating these we taking these figments of our imagination and we creating them we living the characters out.
Yeah.
When we're not really, and I'm gonna say it, we're not really like that. We're not really like that. So why are we, what's wrong with name dropping? Nobody really got nothing going on to not be mentioned.
It's not like we trying to dog and be informants.
I could drop So I could drop your name to spend $50 to come see you.
Right.
But I can't drop your name to tell you to stop the violence. To tell you to come together, I can't drop the name. It's like the narrative. The narrative is so,
it's bullshit. And like I said, but that's where we at in this society now. It's like you really can't doggone do the right thing because by doing the right thing, you almost sound like you the op.
You police or you police.
Yeah.
You 12.
You 12.
Yeah. If you 12 really for doing the right thing or trying to steer them away from the bullshit.
Right.
You know, and it's crazy that we living in a time where they actually don't have to, but they're running to the struggle side of things to be a part of that character.
Right.
Like to actually take on the character of street gangster, real nigga persona.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we actually run into that. We and before we let the people put it on us.
I'm sorry. I mean, there's some things systematic. I would say there's some systematic setbacks. I wouldn't even say systematic racism.
I mean,
that's
true.
There's some systematic setbacks that keep us from growing, you know. But when it comes to us hindering ourselves, we are a big cause of that. I mean, we have to call out injustice if we want things. If you want our neighborhood to change, then we have to be able to say, listen, man, anybody that's doing this on this block, if we see it happening, the police are going to be called, and they're going to take you off this block.
Actually, we have to police ourselves too. We have to stop downing each other because we're policing ourselves. So in the scenario of what if I don't call the cops? Why am I wrong for approaching you and telling you that you're wrong? So are we running our youth off by addressing?
You have to push them away. You have to. If you see shit that's not the normal and it starts to kind of get reckless in your community, you have to say, hey, we don't want that over here. If you don't, they're going to bring their friends are going to bring their friends, and it's just going to become a party. And then you have no say. So when you say it then, later, it's too late.
So when do we reach out to help the situation as far as like, okay...
That's how all the neighborhoods be good and then they crumble. That's how you get like all these nice neighborhoods that bring in other people, and then they start bringing their homeboys. The next thing you know, you're like, damn, that was a nice neighborhood, but it didn't got ran down.
Right.
Because you didn't stop it. You allowed it. You just kept letting it go. That's why. You know?
Right.
So when do you stop the situation? How can you stop the situation from when you see it occurring and you know it's occurring, and you starting to see little gangs starting to happen, and you starting to see niggas starting to break in the cars. You start seeing little things, but you like, oh, you choose not to say nothing. When is it too late, or how can you stop it before it gets too far?
To be honest with you, it's the thing we're dealing with within our own community, within our own culture, is the cop syndrome. I call it the cop syndrome because the police don't arrive until after the fact.
Yeah.
They don't come until after the crime. And a lot of us don't see it, and we don't rectify the situation until something happens. So it's almost like the same thing. Like you just spoke about it. We'll turn a blind eye.
Mm-hmm.
We'll turn a blind eye until either it hits us, or it becomes so big that something blows up and we're forced to we're forced to stand against it. We're forced to stand up against it, you know. And because we don't some of us don't even attack it early because we are afraid of the stigma that it puts on us.
It's gonna put you in a bad situation.
Right. Wow. Yo, how you feel about that though? How do you?
I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't do it.
Free him till it's backwards. Yeah.
Free him.
Yeah.
Then he just shoot. But you gotta understand the situation why it happened. No, bro.
Yeah. He a serial killer.
And you know what? You want to when we talk about white folks, we always say serial killer, right?
Yeah.
If they kill multiple people, it's a serial killer.
Yeah.
But if a nigga
do it
killing other niggas, this nigga got a few bodies.
Yeah. He a whole serial killer out here.
He just a street nigga.
Yeah.
Nah, you a serial killer, nigga.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you are. You a serial killer. But we don't want to use that. We don't want to use that term. That is the term. Like, regardless of how y'all want to look at it, you're a serial killer.
Right. Right.
To your people.
Right. Right. Let me tell you something. It could have nothing to do with the law.
Yeah.
It could just be you and that person literally in the room, like that's your brother, and you're addressing the situation, and it's almost like you become the very thing that they start standing against too.
Yeah. That's why, as much as I want to try to stop it, as much as I want to try to, but it's on us to do more.
Yo, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Being a producer, right? Being an engineer, hearing this stuff, because you hear this stuff every day, you know? How is it hearing this stuff, knowing that, okay, out of 100%, I'm going to throw 65% of it is true in here, right? So how is it hearing this stuff, but at the same time, knowing you stand against half of what you're hearing?
I tell them all the time, listen, when they start talking about killing niggas and shit, I'll be like, nah, I ain't really with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I say that, but
but do you control the narrative of them paying for?
Right. That's whatever
totally on them.
Whatever they talk about, whatever they do is on them. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult,
right,
to completely be a vote and not talk about no situation. You figure I listen to how many stories?
I can imagine.
From how many different people? I've heard a lot of shit about a lot of people. And it's like, you can't say nothing, because if you say something, then you talking about people.
So give me a percentage. give me a percentage. And I'm gonna be real like with this. I'm gonna ask you flat out.
It's a lot like that.
Give me a percentage of 0% to 100%. What's the percentage that you've heard diss records that haven't even came out?
Sometimes I don't even know they diss records until they come out. Sometimes, cause niggas always talking shit. Right. You know, it's like that. Niggas talk shit about everything.
You gotta wait till it come out and then put it together. Yeah.
And I don't necessarily listen to the lyrics every single time. I'm just listening to the quality. I'm listening to the quality. And you're like, yo, you heard what I said? Nah, I really don't. I'm listening to the quality and making sure that the quality sound good. And then that shit, there's a couple of them that came out, and I'm like, I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah. So are people upset with you? Like, is the other artist upset with you for recording it?
Oh yeah, big time. Some of them do try to check me, and I'm like, yo, I had one person he called me. The manager called me, and by like, yo, you know what I'm saying, you got niggas in here trying to. I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck. Who's saying what? Right. I don't care. I'm over here recording. I'm not gonna. You know, that's not even his beat. I don't know whose beat it is. They jack beats off of fucking YouTube all day long. How am I supposed to know that that's your beat, or somebody that you know his beat, and he didn't sell it to him and he's using it? I don't know.
Right.
I can't.
Right.
And I'm not trying to figure this out.
Right.
Yeah. That's too
much. It's not your job.
That's not my job to figure out.
Right.
So I've had situations like that. Or when niggas just be talking like, yo, you recording so-and-so, you know what I'm saying? And you supposed to be recording us. Listen, I don't know who you don't know.
I mean, to be honest, the studio is semi a therapy session.
Yeah. And I mean, I can imagine even barbers got the same type of vibe.
Yep. That's what a studio is People come and release. They talk either before they do their music or after their music. Some people come in here with things in their music and they kind of want to get it off their chest before they even go in the booth.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to remember, a lot of times when art, I always took my music as my diary, my journal.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when artists come in here, you're actually the first one hearing the story.
Yeah.
Whether it be about their
like I didn't even air this out yet,
right?
Like this, or niggas didn't send with their first day out. You know what I'm saying? They came out of prison or jail, and they been locked up for a minute. They ain't speak to nobody. They ain't been in a grandma house. They ain't been in nobody's house. They come straight to the studio, air that shit out.
Yep. And that's one of those.
It's a privilege.
It really is. It really is. So that's the platform that we have to take to silence the bullshit. You know what I mean?
And you have to nurture it. You have to be sensitive to people's emotion.
Right.
Everybody, they don't know how to handle all of the situations that they always handle. Like they coming off of a bad trip. They ready to end the world. You know what I'm saying? You have to know how to talk to people and give them the best advice you can give them.
Right.
And try to be I try to be as godly as possible when I'm involved with a situation that I know that can actually go left.
Yeah.
Because I know where they at in their mind, and I'm like, God love you. I'll try to, but I don't try to drill it like no holier thing. I just say I'll quote a scripture and I'll leave it alone, hoping that I just sow the seed in them.
Yeah.
The Bible say here, fight your battles. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes I know you feel like it, but you don't have to fight it if you don't want to. And I'll leave it alone. And maybe that's just the word that they needed.